10 powerful Stoic lessons that will transform your mind forever. Stoic wisdom. Most people spend their entire lives trying to change their circumstances. They change jobs. They change cities. They change relationships. They change routines. Yet despite all these changes, they continue experiencing the same frustrations, the same fears, and the same disappointments. Why? Because the greatest transformation does not happen outside of you. It happens inside of you. The Stoics understood a truth that remains just as powerful today as it was 2,000 years ago. Your life changes when your mind changes. Your future changes when your thinking changes. Your character changes when your habits change. And when your character changes, everything else begins to follow. Today, we are exploring 10 powerful Stoic lessons that have transformed minds for centuries. These lessons helped emperors remain calm during chaos. They helped philosophers endure hardship. They helped ordinary people develop extraordinary strength. And if you apply them consistently, they can transform your life as well. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel and join our growing community dedicated to Stoicism, wisdom, discipline, and self-mastery. Lesson 1: Focus only on what you can control. This may be the most important Stoic lesson ever taught. Epictetus said that some things are within our control and some things are not. Most suffering begins when people confuse the two. You cannot control what others think about you. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control unexpected setbacks. You cannot control the past. Yet millions of people spend enormous amounts of energy worrying about these things. The result is frustration, anxiety, anger, helplessness. The Stoics chose a different path. They focused only on what they could control. Their actions, their choices, their attitudes, their responses, their character. This shift changes everything. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One complains endlessly about circumstances. The other asks, "What can I do right now?" One becomes trapped. The other becomes empowered. The situation may be identical, but their mindset creates completely different outcomes. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, take action. That simple practice can eliminate a tremendous amount of unnecessary suffering. Lesson 2: Your mind is either your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. Marcus Aurelius wrote that your life becomes what your thoughts make it. Think carefully about that. Your thoughts influence your emotions. Your emotions influence your actions. Your actions influence your results. Most people allow negative thoughts to dominate their minds. They imagine worst-case scenarios. They focus on failures. They replay mistakes. They magnify problems. Eventually, their thinking creates a prison. The Stoics trained themselves to think differently. They examined their thoughts. They challenged irrational fears. They focused on reality instead of imagination. They practiced gratitude instead of complaint. The quality of your life depends heavily on the quality of your thinking. Guard your mind carefully. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves belief. Not every emotion deserves obedience. A disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. Lesson 3: Time is your most valuable possession. Most people protect their money more carefully than they protect their time. Yet money can be recovered. time cannot. Every day that passes is gone forever. Every hour spent on meaningless distractions is an hour removed from your future. Seneca frequently reminded people that life is not short. We simply waste much of it. Think about how many hours disappear through procrastination. Mindless scrolling. Pointless arguments. Endless worrying. Unnecessary drama. Now imagine redirecting that time toward growth. Learning. Building. Improving. Creating. The difference would be extraordinary. Treat your time as a precious resource. Because it is. The way you spend your days determines the way you spend your life. Lesson 4. Discomfort is the price of growth. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. The Stoics did the opposite. They understood that growth often hides inside difficulty. Muscles grow through resistance. Wisdom grows through challenges. Confidence grows through action. Character grows through adversity. Every meaningful achievement requires discomfort. Learning requires discomfort. Discipline requires discomfort. Success requires discomfort. The weak self seeks comfort. The strong self accepts temporary discomfort in exchange for long-term growth. Whenever you encounter difficulty, ask yourself, could this challenge be making me stronger? The answer is often yes. The obstacle may be developing qualities you will need later. Patience. Courage. Resilience. Discipline. Strength. Sometimes life's greatest gifts arrive disguised as challenges. Lesson 5. Stop seeking approval. One of the fastest ways to lose yourself is to live for the approval of others. The Stoics knew this well. No matter what you do, someone will criticize you. No matter what you achieve, someone will doubt you. No matter how hard you try, you cannot please everyone. And trying to do so is exhausting. The moment you stop living for approval, you begin living with freedom. Your worth does not depend on applause. Your value does not depend on compliments. Your character does not depend on public opinion. What matters is whether you are living according to your principles. The strongest people are not those who receive universal approval. They are those who remain true to themselves despite criticism. When your values become more important than validation, your confidence becomes unshakable. That is the beginning of genuine freedom. These first 5 lessons alone can transform the way you think, act, and experience life. But the next lessons are even more powerful because they reveal how to master emotions, build resilience, overcome fear, and develop the mindset that made the Stoics some of the strongest thinkers in human history. Lesson 6. Master your emotions before they master you. One of the greatest misconceptions about Stoicism is that Stoics suppress their emotions. They do not. They simply refuse to become slaves to them. Emotions are natural. Anger is natural. Fear is natural. Sadness is natural. Disappointment is natural. The problem begins when emotions start making decisions. A moment of anger can destroy years of trust. A moment of fear can prevent years of success. A moment of weakness can create years of regret. The Stoics understood that emotions are temporary visitors. They arrive. They stay for a while. Then they leave. The wise person does not allow temporary emotions to control permanent decisions. Imagine receiving criticism. The emotional reaction may be anger. But do you have to obey that anger? No. Imagine facing uncertainty. The emotional reaction may be fear. But do you have to surrender to that fear? No. There is always a space between what happens and how you respond. Within that space lies your freedom. That freedom is one of the greatest powers a human being can possess. Most people react automatically. The Stoic responds intentionally. Most people allow emotions to lead. The Stoic allows reason to lead. The stronger your emotional discipline becomes, the more peaceful your life becomes. Not because problems disappear, but because you stop allowing them to control your inner world. Lesson 7: Accept reality instead of fighting it. Much of human suffering comes from arguing with reality. People resist what already exists. They wish the past had been different. They wish people behaved differently. They wish circumstances were easier. But reality does not change because we dislike it. The Stoics practiced acceptance. Not passive surrender. Not weakness. Acceptance. Acceptance means seeing things exactly as they are. Once reality is accepted, intelligent action becomes possible. Imagine standing in the rain and becoming angry because it is raining. Your anger changes nothing. The rain continues. Now imagine accepting the rain and deciding how to respond. You instantly regain power. This principle applies to every area of life. A setback occurs. Accept it. A challenge appears. Accept it. Someone disappoints you. Accept it. Then ask the only question that matters. What should I do next? The weak mind resists reality. The strong mind adapts to reality. Life becomes much lighter when you stop fighting what already exists. Lesson 8: Your habits become your destiny. People often focus on goals. The Stoics focused on daily actions. Because goals create direction. But habits create results. A single workout changes very little. 1,000 workouts change everything. A single page read changes very little. 1,000 pages read change everything. A single act of discipline may seem insignificant. Years of discipline can completely transform a life. Success is rarely a dramatic event. More often, it is the result of small actions repeated consistently. The problem is that habits work quietly. You do not notice the results immediately. The person who exercises today does not wake up tomorrow transformed. The person who saves money today does not become wealthy tomorrow. The person who studies today does not become an expert tomorrow. But over time, the results become impossible to ignore. Every habit is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every action strengthens an identity. Every decision shapes a future. Ask yourself honestly. What kind of future are your current habits creating? If nothing changed and you continued your current habits for 5 years, where would you end up? That question alone can transform your life. Because once you become aware of your habits, you gain the power to improve them. And when habits improve, life improves. Lesson 9: Courage is acting despite fear. Fear has stopped more dreams than failure ever could. People fear rejection. People fear embarrassment. People fear criticism. People fear uncertainty. People fear taking risks. The result is that many spend their lives standing on the sidelines. Watching. Waiting. Hesitating. Never fully living. The Stoics viewed courage differently. They understood that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward despite fear. Marcus Aurelius experienced fear. Seneca experienced fear. Every great leader in history experienced fear. The difference is that they refuse to let fear make their decisions. Fear often points toward growth. The conversation you are afraid to have. The opportunity you are afraid to pursue. The challenge you are afraid to face. Those moments often contain your greatest potential. A courageous life is not a comfortable life. But it is a meaningful life. And meaning will always be more valuable than comfort. At the end of life, people rarely regret being courageous. They regret the chances they never took. The risks they never embraced. The dreams they never pursued. Do not allow fear to become the author of your story. Lesson 10, remember that life is temporary. This final lesson may be the most powerful of all. The Stoics constantly reflected on mortality. Not because they were pessimistic. Because they wanted to live fully. When you remember that life is temporary, your priorities change. Petty arguments become less important. Ego becomes less important. Approval becomes less important. What truly matters becomes clearer. Relationships matter. Character matters. Purpose matters. Time matters. Growth matters. The awareness of mortality creates urgency. It reminds you that your days are limited. Your opportunities are limited. Your life is limited. And that realization can be incredibly freeing. You stop postponing what matters. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop assuming there will always be more time. You begin living intentionally. You begin appreciating ordinary moments. You begin focusing on what truly matters. The Stoics believed that a person who learns how to face death learns how to live. Because when you understand that life is temporary, you stop wasting it. You stop living on autopilot. You stop drifting through your days. You start creating a life worth remembering. These 10 Stoic lessons have survived for thousands of years because they speak to something timeless within human nature. Control what you can control. Guard your thoughts. Protect your time. Embrace discomfort. Stop seeking approval. Master your emotions. Accept reality. Build powerful habits. Act despite fear. Remember that life is temporary. None of these lessons are complicated. But applying them consistently can completely transform your mind. The transformation will not happen overnight. It will happen one choice at a time. One habit at a time. One disciplined action at a time. One courageous decision at a time. And eventually, you will look back and realize something extraordinary. The person you once were no longer exists. The fears that controlled you have weakened. The excuses that limited you have disappeared. The mindset that held you back has been replaced. And in its place stands a stronger, wiser, calmer, and more resilient version of yourself. That is the power of Stoicism. That is the power of wisdom. And that transformation begins the moment you decide to live these lessons instead of merely hearing them. If you found value in this message, subscribe to the channel and join our community dedicated to Stoicism, wisdom, self-discipline, and personal growth. Remember, your mind shapes your life. Guard it wisely.